Welcome back, my friend,
Yes,
Mr. Melvin
yes, very thankful to be back.
The previous time was really a disaster, isn't it?
Yeah, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah, I'm very honored to be the first 3 to 4 people to be in this room.
Yeah, actually the first, actually.
First, then now I become the second already.
No, I think you're the third now.
You're very aggressive. 1 week you interview a lot of people.
Yeah. So now my video staff, they cannot actually keep up with the editing, and we have to try to reduce this, because they are now getting a bit stressed and I don't want them to quit the job.
Yeah, so then editing outside.
Yeah, they are still editing outside. So anyway, welcome back to today.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Good to be back. Yeah. Me too.
Yeah,
Good
thank
to
you
see.
for inviting me.
Thanks for coming back.
No problem.
Because it's like within 7 days you come here 2 times, and I know
Yeah.
that you are a very
good.
busy person.
No. It's good to have you. I think you are busy, and yeah, it's good to speak with you.
So I think the previous time we chatted for 45 minutes, and we ended up wasting the whole footage because there wasn't any audio. So for watchers and listeners, viewers and listeners right now, we actually spent 45 minutes with Mr. Melvin, and it turns out to be there's no audio at all.
Yeah, it's a good chat. It's a good chat.
So that time we talked about a few things, and I think we should revisit those topics, right? Because we have already talked about those things before, and I thought that maybe we just begin with how did it all begin. So for people who don't know who is Melvin, he's the founder. Is that CEO?
Can call that like usually.
CEO.
Yeah, just put co-founder.
Co-founder of Property Link Brothers, which is actually a very innovative sales team, that is providing service for property sellers and buyers in Singapore to look at, to help them buy and sell their properties, right? Using creative methods, marketing methods through digital marketing, which is the in thing right now.
Yes, it's
Yes, it's in thing, right? So that time we talked about how you all got started in the first place.
Yes.
So how did it happen?
Yeah, so 14 years back, what happened was that I met my now business partner, Adrian.
Right.
So we met in the prison service. So we always tell people we met in prison. Then they say, hey, what are you doing in prison? They say we are prison officers. So actually I met him day one at the training camp.
Training camp.
Prison officers training camp. That's in Sembawang.
Yeah.
How I dabbled into this job was because I didn't have enough funds to finish my 3rd year degree in SIM. So I was teaching like tuition kids. I have 10 tuition kids, doing a lot of part-time jobs, but I got burnt out. Then I couldn't I couldn't save enough money for 3rd year tuition. So I decided to extract myself. At the same time, I met my girlfriend, which we very passionately want to get married ASAP. I mean, we just came to the conclusion, okay, I will go and get a job that is stable, save money, finish my degree as a night class student. At the same time, get married, get a HDB property, and settle down, right? So anyway, the bond was only 3 years. So I thought, okay, after 3 years, then I come out and look for something else. And at the time, after I met Adrian, by coincidence, I also met another friend.
Yep.
And my friend was doing property. And then he was telling me like, hey, I started doing property for 1 year, and every month I'm earning like 5 figure. And like, wow.
Wow.
Probably can earn 5 figure because I was earning as a new sergeant, as a new
3K?
prison officer. It's about 2005.
Well,
That's about 16, 17 years back.
actually, not bad,
Yeah, not bad for somebody that don't have a degree. I only got A levels, right? After which I completed my degree, and the prison service was actually going to offer me emplacement to senior officer.
Right.
And I happened to finish my banking and finance degree, and at the same time, I was at a crossroads. Should I take the senior prison officer route? Should I go for a banking job, or should I join my friend in real estate? And I find that real estate is very interesting because we are selling a product that's so huge, and it's one of the biggest assets that a person can own apart from a car.
Yes.
Right?
Car is not an asset.
A car is not a car is a liability in Singapore.
It's the depreciation liability.
Yeah. Probably in future Tesla will be an asset.
Or maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the funny thing is that for me to sell a property is like, wow, so huge. And then the funny thing is that the buyers have to walk into the product to view this product. So it's pretty fascinating for a 24, 25-year-old person. And I just thought, hey, why don't I give it a shot? And anyway, I love sales. I've been doing a lot of part-time jobs since 14, 15 years old. And then out came we were.
Yeah.
So I told Adrian, I say, hey, before we get out of prison service, right, the very first thing we must do is we must get a car.
Yeah.
So we use our final few months of pay slip, got a Toyota Vios, and then we came up. And that was 14 years back we started.
Wow. That's quite a journey. By the way, you said that you want to marry ASAP.
Yeah.
Why? Why is the... Why, this kind of
Yeah, so I think it was Probably because of I came from an average family, and my parents are great parents. There are three of us. I'm the eldest, but I always have this sense that I need to be very independent very quickly.
Oh.
Yeah, so I want to be very independent. I want to earn my own keep, and I want to build my family very fast. So somehow, when I met my wife, both of us had the same kind of wavelength, and then we just say, okay, let's start a family fast.
That's very odd.
Yeah, so we part off for about 1 year, then we got married. Yeah. How about you, bro? How long do you part off?
Me?
Yeah.
Wow. I met Valerie first in 2007. But we were schoolmates in secondary school. But that time we are not like together yet, you know?
Right, right.
So we got together, we got married in 2017.
10 years of
10 years.
dating.
So it is on the exact date that we
Came
we
together.
stayed together.
Go steady.
We go steady together, right? The exact 10 year, we got married and we hold our wedding at the Four Seasons Hotel.
Right, right.
Yeah, a small setting, 12 table, you know. And yeah, that's really, so for me, I always thought that marriage is not so something that's so fast lah. You know, and it's not like me and you're not same wavelength. You know, it's more of like I really thought that once you get married, right, it is more of like a name thing only. You know, like for me, I felt like if you talk about like getting married for official, right, is already married for since 2008 lah. I would say
You felt that you were already married.
married right. Just that we are not officially like in Mr. and Mrs. lah.
Right.
Yeah, but I always believe that
This is the one. This is the person.
Yeah, after I see her temper and all that, you know, I felt like this one can. The temper is bad I like it serious, you know. No, but she's really, you know, when I first got together with her, of course, pretty pretty then come together, right? Attractive, right? Turns out to me, I realized one thing. She's pretty and the temper is really bad also. Okay, so you said also that banking and finance.
Yeah.
Why would you consider going banking also?
No, that time, you know, I was young and I was just thinking, hey, when I signed up for the degree at SIM, I was just thinking, okay, maybe a banking job will earn more.
Yeah.
Right. So I just took the course.
Yeah.
There was not really a lot of forward planning. I mean, even for real estate, it was like, you know, just happened, just coincidence. But I'm very thankful that, you know, ever since we came into the industry, we like this whole thing because we like selling. We like selling. We like the very fun process of closing a deal, getting the deal, and yeah. But that took a turn probably about, I think, in 2010 and 11.
Yeah.
So 2010 and 11, that was my 4th to 5th year in real estate.
You mean you're in the industry since when?
2007. 2006, 07.
老教 this is called 老教.
Time flies, man. Time flies. Yeah. And yeah, I think last week I shared about the story that back then the industry was very different because in 06, 07, nobody will teach you anything, unlike today.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no proper training, like advanced training places like what you have here. Like what you're doing here. Like I think probably you're the first in Singapore. Yeah.
You should do advertisement.
Yeah, you should buy this book.
Actually, I'm giving for free, you know.
Yeah. I have 2 of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to read this. You have to read this. Yeah, it's the first in Singapore. Right. So, yeah, I think there's no centers like this. Yeah, that teaches people. And the OBERS back then, because I think the culture was, there was no CEA and then there was a lot of undercutting. So everybody was very wary of each other. Yeah, so they're very scared to teach people stuff lah.
Right.
So we have to learn things on the ground.
Yeah.
But back in about 2010, I actually suffered from a burnout. 2010, that was about 4 years into the industry. I suffered from a burnout. I was a one-man show together with Adrian. We are like partners, but we are still like one-man show model. That means we do everything ourselves. We throw flyers. We do door knocking. We have telemarketers. Very traditional way of marketing. And we were listers already. That means we take listings and sell. So we're mainly serving sellers.
Yeah.
But I suffered a burnout because I still remember there was a time that I was very scared to pick up my phone. Because the phone was like ringing non-stop.
That's a good problem, what?
This is a good problem, but probably because I was too hungry for, I think it was like too hungry for success until it's over the limit. That I didn't strike a balance, and I'm already a father and I have kids.
Oh, okay.
So there was a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a burnout incident, and then after that incident, basically till today, it was a great learning journey because I know that there's really something called burnout, and then a system is very important. Yeah, we have to build a system, but at the same time, having that sort of awareness allows me to know that what am I working for? What do I want to build? And it's not just all about money. But at the same time, how do I enjoy my work while serving people?
So when you suffered the burnout, how do you overcome this burnout at the time?
How do I overcome this burnout? So at that time, what happened was that it was also the time that I became a Christian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So prior to that, you are Buddhist.
Prior to that, I was a Taoist Buddhist
same.
But technically, probably you can say that I had technically no religion So but 2010 was also the time that I became a Christian, and being in the Christian faith, it gave me strength. And I think the biggest thing is that a few years after being a Christian, I realized that there were a lot of things that when we conducted our business in the past, it was not done through the right lenses. That means we were seeing our customers as dollar signs. That means we're doing a lot of things just for the sake of earning money. And that actually became a very unhealthy obsession. That means as being very young ages, we just wanted to clock a lot of commission and then buy stuff, you know, buy Rolex watch and like now I wear a Casio.
I'm still wearing Rolex.
You're still wearing Rolex? Okay. So there's nothing wrong with wearing Rolex. It's just my own mindset that was a bit screw up in my own sense.
I know.
So I wanted to have all these things to prove to people.
Right. So social recognition.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I wasn't happy. But at the same time, I think I was looking at my clients in the wrong way because I just wanted to clock that commission. And I made a business mistake. I made a business mistake.
Okay.
And I got a very heavy lesson from that business mistake because overnight my bank account was wiped out.
Serious?
Yeah, bank account was wiped. That's why whenever new agents nowadays, when they tell me saying that it's very hard to start now. So I will share with them this story that actually I started from zero twice. One was in 2006. First time coming into the industry, brand new. Second time was in the year 2010.
Wow.
So I started twice from zero. And so that time when I started from zero, I have 3 kids.
Oh my God.
That's why I had to restart the entire thing. The burden. But I'm thankful because without that mistake, I wouldn't have learned.
Wow.
So from then on, we always tell ourselves, which is why we even put on our website that this Property Link Brothers business was given by God. Because we dedicate this business, as in this entire idea, we think that it came from God because even the brand name was out of the blue and a client just said, hey, you all should call yourself the Lim Brothers. And so through 2010 until now, about 3.5 years ago, we thought to ourselves, hey, why is it that marketing a property in Singapore seems to be a bit stale?
Right.
It's a bit flat and a bit boring. Right.
Post on Guru. Then take some photo. Do some slide video. Last time we do some slide video, right?
Panning slide videos and some music. And when we were also throwing flyers for the years, we felt that there's really no ROI already. There's no response. It's not helping the sellers, and we are unable to get new customers as well.
Exactly. Exactly. Because the customers, the sellers, right? If I'm a seller and all my agent does is I go and subscribe a Property Guru account. Then after that, I go and take photo in your house. I take some wide angle photo
Right.
Then use those very nice lighting And then I post there, and then I meet people. Actually, all these things, right? I mean, no offense to anybody still doing all these things. It is really getting a little bit outdated. It's getting a bit outdated, and it's not really in the best favor of the seller, right? And that's why I always thought that you're like the first adopter of this thing. You make it so popular now that every time, to be frank, every time. I bet you if I turn on my phone and go to Facebook right now, right? I'll see advertisement by property agents using this is who and where, I'm at this property now. So how do you feel about this competition that actually came in?
Yeah, so 3 years back when we started, there was nobody doing it.
Nobody, I know.
Yeah, so when we started the entire idea of having a presenter in the home and in the form of a video content, that was in 2017. And when we did our first probably 10 videos, a lot of people were standing at the sidelines looking at us and saying that, hey, why are all these people, wasting so much money, filming, editing, putting on. Yeah, a lot of friends say that we are crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because they can still sell properties using just bottles.
Yep.
So it's still working. But we told ourselves, because the first 3 property that we tried using video content, it was sold very effectively. It was fast. The sale price was to its potential, to the
Highest
max
potential,
potential.
yeah.
And some of the properties that wasn't able to be sold previously by other people, we managed to sell it. So we know that there is a certain element in it that is different.
Yes.
So we just told ourselves, okay, let's just keep doing it.
Yes.
Let's just do it. And we just continue to invest in this thing. We spend more time, is fine. Because we have to prep the script, prep the storyboard. And sometimes the editing is a pain. Because initially our video team, video editors, they don't know what we want.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't know whether to put in subtitles, what's the music and stuff like that. So there was a lot of pain at the background.
Yeah.
But after that, when it kicked off, then naturally, I think a lot of people will want to try it as well. So I think it's very normal because like Seth Godin says that marketers spoil everything. And last week you also mentioned you read the book by Peter Thiel, 0 to 1.
Yes.
Yeah, so
It's going from 0 to 1.
yeah, competition is normal.
Yeah. Actually, Seth Godin also mentioned that marketing is in the product itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if like see, we are really very common channel person. We same same wavelength. I also follow him.
You also love to read. Yeah.
No, I watch YouTube. So actually the product is in the marketing itself. So when you're trying to sell the product, that is marketing because you are trying to market and at the same time you're also marketing for your business. So it's like a circle that's kind of completed. And this kind of model of business, right, is one that will sustain. And which, by the way, I think most sellers, home sellers, they don't understand that there is actually a lot of cost in terms of building, making a video, Yeah. I mean, can you just share like what are the work, how many hours is required to do your hour, your videographers, the editing and all that?
Yeah. So initially, definitely we have to do a site visit.
Yes.
Site visit. Then we have to do background research.
How much time is the site visit?
Site visit, I mean, during the first meetup, we meet the client, talk probably about 2 hours, and then we look at the property. Take photographs first, but the photographs is mainly for research. That means once we go back, we want to analyze an angle that we can actually craft out the entire storyboard. So that's the time that we will sit down with our media guys, craft out the storyboard. But at the same time, some of the guys will start doing research on the pricing, comparatives, and all that kind of stuff. Then that will then move on to the day of the shoot.
Yeah, which is how long?
Day of shoot, depending on the size of the property, it ranges between 3 hours for a normal condo.
1,000 square feet.
Yeah, maybe 1,000 square. And that's for interior. Plus the talking scene. And after that, we still have to go out for outdoor shoot. So end up probably about 4 hours. But if it's a landed property, then it will take about 6 hours.
Wow. Okay.
So our shoots are a bit longer. Then going back to the studio, that will then take probably close to a week to edit the video. So there's a lot of unseen costs in terms of manpower hours, brain power, plus a lot of background work that goes into the entire thing.
So plus you have to do the script.
Yeah, we have to do the script conceptualize.
And which, by the way, so let's say that you have because you said a week to do, right? Your staff probably has to spend like 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
So 56 hours.
Yeah.
Plus you're shooting 4 hours and 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's 62 man hours.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Your sunken cost is quite high, actually.
Yeah. So the cost per project is
Viewers, if you're looking at this right now, right, and if you're looking to sell a property and you want to engage him, right, you know that there is a sunken cost because you hire people. A whole team of people. Which, by the way, I'm very curious to find out how do you end up talking so naturally in front of camera? I mean, not only me, I got question coming in because I got this Telegram chat group on all agents that's inside there. They ask this question.
Right.
How you talk until like that one? Like actor like that.
No, so initially, if you watch my first few videos in 2018, I didn't talk like that. Yeah, so I mean, until today, my English is not good because I have broken English.
No lah.
Right. So in my secondary days, I actually had a traumatic incident.
Yeah.
So when I did my first presentation during Sec 1, my friends laughed at me and I was like sweating all along and stuff. So from there, I told myself, I said, maybe I'm not a person that can stand in front of people to talk.
You're introvert.
Yeah, I'm by nature an introvert.
Really?
Yeah.
doesn't look like that.
So I like to read. I like to go to the movie theater alone. So I'm a natural introvert.
Serious?
Yeah, but if I'm selling, I will morph into an extrovert.
Wow.
Yeah. So the best salesperson can morph into anything.
Now I know why you're burnt out that time. yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. Somehow, probably 3 years back when we wanted to do this, I think thankfully also because of the 2010 incident.
Yeah, the burnout
The
plus
burnout
money
plus
thing.
the business mistake, and then we came to believe in God in the Christian faith.
Right.
And I think there's this Bible verse that always remind me, which is that whatever you hope that others will do to you, do to them also. That means that it coincides with a commandment from God, which is to love God. Which is the first and most important commandment. Second commandment is to love others as how you love yourself.
Right.
In a sense, is that this let us have that lens that every property we transact, this property belongs to a family.
Yes.
And actually, every family needs to earn that hard-earned money to own this property.
Yes.
Yeah, and if I can visualize that, it means that if I'm not a property agent and I want to sell my house, how would I want my property agent to treat me?
Right.
Yeah, so if I put on this lens, it means that, hey, I need to take this very seriously because I'm helping a human being to transact the biggest asset of their life. And I need to take it with full responsibility to assure them that I'm putting my best to sell it.
Do you follow Jay Abraham?
Jay Abraham, no, I don't.
No, you don't. Oh, so that he got this thing called the strategy of preeminence. Exactly, this is the thing.
Right.
And let me just share something. You know, just now you shared that this came from Bible. This verse came from Bible.
Yeah.
In Chinese, there's also saying, 己所不欲，勿施于人. It's the same thing.
Chinese is good.
It's the same thing.
Right.
No. I learned it from my sister-in-law. She put that as a
Motivating verse.
No. You know her WhatsApp. There's a message you can put there.
Oh, okay.
she put that over there.
Okay.
So every time I look at
read it.
I'll read that one. Exactly.
己所不欲，勿施于人。
己所不欲，自己不喜欢的。
对 Don't do that to other people.
Don't do that.
Right.
勿施于人. So there is such a thing.
Okay, so going back to the question why I can speak, right? Is because
that's because of
because from that lens,
right?
When we do our videos, naturally we were nervous. We are nervous. Even now until today, sometimes there are fumbles and stuff. But we just keep reminding ourselves, hey, I'm doing this for the benefit of the seller.
And you make it quite funny.
Yeah, and I'm not doing this to show off myself.
Right.
So sometimes even YouTube comments are nasty, right? It's okay. We don't mind.
Haters.
Yeah, so we just tell ourselves, okay, I'm doing it because my seller benefit.
Right.
And then I'm happy already.
Right.
So that's all.
No, because you actually put in some of the NG inside, you know.
Yeah.
That's very funny actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gives you the, how to say, the 亲切感. How to say in English? I cannot ask her. 亲切感 is the
affinity.
Affinity. Exactly. So I was thinking, like, you know, there are actually a lot of questions over here. Right. So just now we talk about how real estate has been very different. Last time is very traditional, correct? Like flyers, mailers.
Yes.
I mean, it's not really very last time, you know, like quite recent still, people still, you know, like all in that area. When I came in the real estate industry in 2012, right, that was the time where, right before that, everybody's doing flyers, mailers. I was one of the first adopter of digital marketing as well.
Yeah.
And all of my sales and all that was from digital marketing, which, by the way, I am also an introvert. And I suffered burnout a few times already. Okay. The most recent one was when it was in 2018, mid of 2018, after I conducted my 4th batch of my training for RIMM. And then after that, we went online, I remember, right? I went online.
The Up Launcher.
The Up Launcher is the software, but I got RIMM online.
Your video and
the
stuff.
videos and all that one.
Right.
So the reason why I transited, right, was because of the burnout.
Because you were doing a lot of coaching.
I doing a lot of coaching. I'm an introvert and end up I really burn out, and I realized that, you know, which, by the way, you know, it's a lucrative thing, doing coaching, right? To be frank, everybody, it's quite a lucrative thing. But at one point in time, it's just not about money. You know, you see it's a lot of emotional investment into the students, right?
It is. Because you need to understand their problem.
Yeah.
You need to think for them.
So when that happened, and some of them, they get a lot of result, and you're happy for them. But initially, I'm very happy that after a while, you start to feel a bit imbalanced. I mean, that's for me, right? I start to feel, wow, I teach you all the things. I mean, you know, like,
okay.
Which, by the way, we will censor that figures over there, right? And then I start to feel a bit imbalanced, to be frank. You know, like, shit. that was my burnout. By the way, so these are the question that, you know.
But I think coaching is, Yeah, I think coaching has maturity level one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then every year you become better. So I think definitely you are different from 2018 because
Different already.
because your level of like
Now I want my students to make the
Yeah,
most.
yeah.
I also
Yeah.
a bit more extroverted now, so
right.
people do change. You know, like
Yeah.
I was really very affected at that time because of
You
we fly overseas and you invest so much time and emotion with all your students, and until like you start to really believe that they're your brother and sister, no, and to that extent, and that was something that I learned. Right, that actually you still can do that, but with a different viewpoint, which is the what you mentioned earlier. When you know when you see things differently, not everybody as dollar signs.
Yes,
Correct. When you
yes.
don't see all these people as dollar signs, right?
yeah.
Come on, my students now, you know, I mean, they come to my course, right? I don't think it make me any like suddenly make me my life change or what lah. Seriously, you know, the money is not at that point in time maybe yes, right? Because I charge really high, right? Which I charge can censor again per person,
Right.
At that point in time. Per person.
Yeah.
And so remember to censor all this. And now I charge person.
Right.
But the won't make me any sudden rich. It won't happen. It won't happen because the mentality and everything is different. Right? Situation is different already.
Yeah.
So which by the way, there are a lot of questions that came from people who. So I got this Telegram channel.
Sure.
I said, you know, I bet. So I announced that the time the audio was broken. And I shared with everybody inside the channel.
Yeah.
And I said that, you know, if you got any question, you can ask. This time round, I make sure I'll not let Melvin go so easily. Okay.
Right.
And these are the questions.
Right.
And it goes like this. All right. So let's go back as a property agent. Let's for example, you're like a teacher now. Okay.
Yes.
Let's pretend that there is this question and says that what advice do you have for young and aspiring realtor who is new and wants to join the industry?
Right. So I think the very first thing is you have to really boil down to the mindset that you are no longer an employee. Because okay, whether you have started working for people before you come in or not, I think the most detrimental thing is that when people come in, they thought that they are an employee.
Yeah.
They come in with a mindset that they are working for someone, and they fail to realize that they are their own boss. They are like a mini boss.
Yeah.
They just open up a store to sell chicken rice, but they thought that they are going to work at a chicken rice store. But actually the chicken rice store depends on them. Right.
So first of all, to understand that they are no longer an employee.
They are really like a mini boss.
A mini boss.
Yeah.
And you have this process of doing things now, so you don't have a burnout. So you are really like a SME, I would say. Correct? In a way, it's a SME because you have more employee than me. I'm an SME.
You're an SME. Yes,
you got
correct.
more employee than me.
Right.
And that is the thing. And I totally agree because most people, they end up either burnout or they cannot achieve their success. All because they treat this as a work.
It's a job.
As a job.
It's
right?
a job.
And it's really not. It is really a business.
Yes.
Which is why inside the book, The Internet Router, a bit of airtime. Inside the book, The Internet Router, I mentioned that everybody that is doing real estate, right, is running a business.
Yeah.
And the business is actually very simple. Two components.
Yeah.
Management of existing relationship and creation of new relationship. Correct?
Yeah.
This is in essence, right?
Yeah. Lead generation.
This is in essence
Taking care of your leads.
correct. This is in essence the whole business already, right?
Yes.
Of course, closing deal is part of taking care of existing relationship.
Yeah. But this one has to come first.
Yeah. Lead generation.
Lead generation has to come first.
Lead generation has to come first, which is something that I would also advise to the young and aspiring realtor to don't be on passive mode.
Yeah.
Right? If you're on passive mode, you have passive result. Passive result usually is not good.
Yeah.
Right? You can be a number one top closer of the industry.
Correct.
But you have no leads.
Yeah.
No use.
Yes. Nobody knows who you are. They don't know how you can help
The
them.
number one fisherman of the world. Go
Yeah.
to a pond with prawns.
Yeah.
You cannot fish.
Yeah.
Okay, you can just swing, but there's no tilapia. There's nothing coming up. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The next question is, this one is interesting. Being so busy, how is your daily schedule like? Like how do you...
Daily schedule.
Yeah.
Assuming like office is full force.
Right.
Assuming office is full force. Usually, okay, my daily schedule will start with my baby now. So I wake up at 6. No, I wake up at 6 to wake my son up, make breakfast for him. Then he go to secondary school. Then at 6:30, I wake my baby up, feed him milk. Then
Wait.
play
You
with
got
him.
a son that's going secondary school.
Yeah,
and
14
a son
years
that's
old.
baby.
Yeah. So there's a huge gap.
Wow.
So I just had my 4th kid last year, September. So he's
Congratulations.
like 10 months old. Yeah, congratulations. Your baby is 5 months old.
Mine is 4 months old.
4 months old, okay.
Right. It's giving me a lot of problems. So after the waking up and then...
Yeah, so after that, then my wife will take over. I'll do a bit of exercise, then I'll do a bit of reading. Then I force myself to read at the start of the day and at the end of the day, like every day. So I make sure that I read. Then
Readers are leaders.
yeah, I love to read.
Right.
To read. So
After that,
about 9:30 to 10, I will reach office. Then we'll start the day. So usually the appointments are stacked quite back to back until about 6 to 7.
Yeah.
I head back home
Yeah.
for dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
So unless there's like night time.
oh, you still go back for dinner?
I go back home for dinner.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is actually very important.
Yes.
That's very
yes.
important. The
Yeah.
time with family.
Yes.
Yeah. Then after that, you stay at home already.
After I stay home, if not, sometimes I'll go back for dinner early. Then I head out for presentation if there is a presentation.
Night presentation.
Yes.
Okay. So you'll try to make it in the. So if you want to engage Melvin for your property agent work, right?
Yeah.
Please find him in the afternoon.
Well, nighttime is fine. Weekends are also okay. No problem.
Family life is very important, as
Yeah.
is with your family life as well. You know, I understand that, totally understand that. So it is actually a very quite a balance in many ways. But what time do you sleep?
Usually about 12.
12 and you wake at 6.
Yeah, 6 hours minimum about 5
Oh.
to 6 hours. 6 hours
That explains your this lines.
Yeah, a lot of wrinkles.
Yeah, not enough sleep.
Your face is very smooth.
Of course, because I sleep a lot. I sleep the most, right, Frey? I'm the sleeping boss. I sleep in the office every day. Or at work. Okay, so another question. This is very interesting. You can choose not to answer. In your partnership with Adrian,
Yes.
do you have conflicts?
Oh, definitely. All partnerships will have conflict, but we have a golden rule
Yeah.
is that we have to, once there's anything that is uncomfortable or there's a conflict, we have to solve it preferably within the same day or 1 to 2 days. Yeah, so we have like a golden rule. That means we're very upfront with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that over the past 14 years builds a lot of trust.
Right.
And of course, at the start, there will be more conflicts. And then when we are growing, there will also be some conflicts. But I think now we're at a stage that we already know each other for so long, more
Yes.
than 17 years. I know Adrian's style, I know his character, I know his strengths and weaknesses. He know mine as well. So now we already know that we complement each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's communication. No? It's just like married couples, you also need to have some ground rules. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the key is talk about things.
Yes.
Don't leave things, don't leave any stone unturned.
Yes.
Right. And then just solve that. Me and Valerie, you know, last time, this is a bit sidetrack, you know, like me and Valerie last time when we first got together, same. We have a lot of disagreement, right? Little bit of disagreement. And it is this mechanism of solving problems on the day itself, right?
Yes.
Which I instill, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. So we argue all the way until 3 a.m. In the morning. She wants to sleep. She said, okay, I lose. I lose. I said, no. We have to solve this. We have to solve
Before
it.
you sleep.
Correct. Before you sleep. So we talk until 6 a.m. One time, 2 times, she stopped already. She stopped her nonsense already. You know, so I also stopped my nonsense already. So we are able to solve things a lot faster. And of course, along the way, just like you and Adrian, and with any other partner that you might have, right?
Yes.
All these problems are solved easily, and it's not a volcano. You have those little geysers, right? So the major explosion don't happen.
Yeah.
If not, we'll be like, you know, then you last time you also like that, you also like that.
Yeah.
That time you also like that. What? Then become
Yeah.
and then you cannot solve the problem.
Yeah.
This is very good actually. I think anybody who is, which by the way in real estate, it is hard not to have a partner.
Yeah.
To be frank.
Yes.
Right. So if you have a partner, you're bound to have conflict. Property agents, you know, my students or book holders or whoever. If you are in the property industry, you definitely come to a point in time where you have to have a partner. And whether if it's a tagger or whatever, right? The main thing is solve the problem. Do not let the problem sit, right? Because the problem will then manifest into something that is very huge, that is unsolvable.
Yeah.
At a point in time, then it becomes too late already. I believe so.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
You know, so well, I think we have already spent a long time together. So one last question, and
Yes.
that has to do with my book.
Okay, sure.
All right. What do you think about it?
Fantastic. I think your greatest strength of this book is that there are a lot of illustrations that makes it very easy for us to understand.
Yes.
But at the same time, although it's easy to understand, there's a lot of meat. There's a lot of meat.
A lot of me, right?
Yeah. So I would recommend that anyone that reads this book, you need to read it twice.
Twice.
Yeah, because there's a lot of meat inside. And if you just like read through
Yes.
the first round, definitely when you read a book twice, you will understand the deeper meat. Because David himself, he has a lot of insights that probably just one session like this, you won't be able to see deeper. Yeah, but I think you if you read twice, you get a lot of juice out of it.
Yeah. So when I started writing this book, I really didn't thought that I would write all these things inside. Like some of the things I reserve for my people that I know.
Right.
And end up I think, you know what? These are things that is really very helpful for any property agent. So instead of seeing dollar signs like that, I started seeing like, can this book help people? Right. So as a matter of fact, it used to retail like for 24. I mean, I have a price for $24.95. I wanted to launch it at $24.95.
Right.
And ended up I just charge shipping only. Right. Which by the way, the shipping covers the shipping and handling, my staff packing, the bubble wrap, getting the courier because it's courier. So next day you receive it.
Right.
So it just cover all this only.
Yeah.
I think it's something that I haven't, which by the way, I've given up more than 1,000 books. I haven't regret. Right. It's a good thing that we did it this way, lah. But hopefully people will really enjoy this book. If you want to get a copy, you can go and get it at the internetrouterbook.com. All right, so that is how anybody can get a copy of this.
Right.
Melvin, thanks a lot.
No problem.
I'm really very happy to talk to you. Hopefully this is not our last session.
Yeah, sure.
Right,
sure.
and next time we talk about let's talk about more in-depth thing, right? On more things
marketing.
Which by the way, this whole meeting, right? This whole podcast, right? It's really nothing got to do with branding or what, It's really got to do with there are a lot of people who want to know about you. Seriously, I don't know until I ask. Like every single property agent in Singapore know who Property Lim Brother is. Seriously, you're like you're like the person to talk to, And it is really interesting because without posting that particular question, right? It's like people, but now you go around and talk to people and like, you heard of Property Lim Brother? Oh, the one that is always talking in front of video. Yes, that one. Everybody know, right? So a lot of things that people want to know about you, but I believe that, sharing about your life story and all these kind of things, now they get to know you a bit better.
Yeah.
And as for new agents, they also kind of know what they should do better. And one thing that we can conclude from this chat is that things have to evolve.
Yes.
Right. And that internet, digital marketing, it is a must.
It is a must.
Right. I believe that you probably spend more on advertising than anybody else.
Yes. Yeah, we spend a lot.
I got a glimpse that time.
Yeah.
Wow, I see that one. No wonder. I went to Facebook, there's a sharing. And then I did a kind of like an interview. I think I shared that with you the previous time.
They interview you.
You know what? When we go into the lift, right? The person said, "You're from the property industry," because I said I'm property industry. I said, "You're from property industry?" Yes. You heard of Property Lim Brother? I said, of course, I heard of them. Like, how would you heard of Property Lim Brothers? Even Facebook employees, they heard of you.
Right.
I believe they have been monitoring the spending that you have.
Yes.
Which, by the way, advertisement for owners, right, don't just come in the form of video. It comes in the form, which by the way is like 60 man hours, plus your 4 man hours of recording, plus your years of mastery, learning how to speak in front of the property.
Yeah.
It is also the advertisement cost that they have to see.
If you don't spend money, nobody will see.
Yes, if you don't spend, nobody will see. And to give them the highest and biggest exposure, you need to use the best video, which you have a video team of how many people?
Now we have 5.
5. 5. Let's hire 3 more. We need 3 more people in our team. All right, it's a super pleasure, to have you here. Yeah, and it is Mr. Melvin Lim, Property Lim Brothers. He is not just a realtor; he's also a leader. So if you can consider, a leader like him, you want to join him as well. All right. So thanks
to be here, bro.
I will catch you up here again.
Sure.
Thanks. See you.
Okay.
Take care. Take care, guys. Take care. Bye.